I stared at my phone, unable to move. The group chat notification had popped up, and I opened it without thinking. A flood of messages hit me. Vacation plans, hotel bookings, flights. My stomach dropped. My name wasn't on the list. Not once? Wait, what the hell? I muttered to myself, thumb hovering over the screen. Are you serious? Mark's message blinked in my own chat. I typed back quickly, my fingers trembling. Mark, it's not there. I'm not on the list. There was a pause. Then, that's messed up. Did Lena put this together? I swallowed hard, heart pounding. Lena, my fiancée. My Lena. I dialed her number. Once, twice. It rang, then went straight to voicemail, again and again. I sent a text. Lena, what's going on? Why am I not included? No reply. I sank onto the couch, phone shaking in my hand. My parents popped into my head. Maybe they just forgot. I muttered. But the group chat messages continued. Plans for the beach, the mountain trail, late night dinners. And Lena was in every single one, confirming rooms, suggesting activities. I felt like a ghost. I texted my mom. Hey, is there a family trip coming up? Her reply came instantly, yes. The whole family. Isn't it exciting? Is it including me? My thumb hovered over send, nauseated. Her reply, of course. You're coming, right? I wanted to scream. My mind raced. Clearly in her eyes, I was coming, but in reality, Lena and my family had moved forward without me. I called my sister. Are you serious? I'm not on the trip? Oh, we thought Lena told you, she said awkwardly. You thought? I couldn't even manage a full sentence. Why didn't anyone just say something? Why do I find out like this? Relax, maybe it's just a mistake, she mumbled. I laughed bitterly. A mistake? My fiancé is coordinating everything. Every detail. And I'm invisible. Mark's message popped up again. Go there. Don't wait. I felt like I could explode. I imagined walking in, confronting Lena, asking her face to face why she didn't tell me. But then the thought of seeing her smiling, making plans with someone else, made my chest tighten. I paced the room. I can't believe this. Then, a sinking realization hit me. This wasn't just forgetfulness. This was intentional. Lena was with someone else. My own fiancé, my supposed partner, moving on without me. I called her again. 1 ring, 2 rings, then voicemail. I left a message, my voice trembling. Lena, it's me. Call me back, please. No reply. I dropped the phone onto the couch. Staring at the ceiling, I whispered to myself, why am I always the last to know? Always the fool? My parents came into the living room smiling. You coming? We're finalizing some plans. I forced a smile. Yeah, just thinking. My dad clapped me on the shoulder. Don't overthink it. Family trips are fun. I nodded, but inside I burned. Fun. Sure, fun for everyone else. Not for me. Scrolling through the group chat, Lena's messages caught my eye. Can't wait for everyone to see this view. And booked a double room with Jake. Hope that's okay. My vision blurred. Jake. That was the friend she'd always mentioned. The one I was supposed to trust. I sank into the couch again, fists clenched. My chest felt tight, my stomach twisted. Betrayal wasn't just an idea anymore, it was real, staring at me from my phone screen. I muttered to myself, voice low but furious. You think you can do this, Lena? You think I won't notice? You're wrong, Mark's message flashed. We need a plan. Don't let her think she won. I exhaled slowly, trying to steady my thoughts. Hurt, shock, humiliation, it swirled inside me like a storm. But under it, a spark ignited. Anger. Not the blind kind, but sharp, calculating. Lena had made a choice, and now so would I. I stared at her picture in my phone. My fiancé, smiling with someone else, blissfully unaware I knew. My fingers tightened around the phone. I won't let this go, I whispered, voice firm. Not her. Not anyone. The group chat continued buzzing, oblivious to my silent vow. And as I stared at my empty spot on the list, I realized something. This wasn't just heartbreak. This was the beginning. I was done being invisible. I woke up to a flood of notifications. My phone lit up like a Christmas tree: pictures, messages, and tagged posts from the trip I wasn't invited to. My heart skipped a beat when I opened the first image. Lena, smiling, leaning against a man I didn't recognize. Her arm casually draped over his shoulder. His name? Jake. She had called him her friend in passing. My chest tightened. "Why is she?" I whispered, staring at the screen. I swiped to the next picture. Lena laughing, leaning into him like she belonged there. My hands trembled. I wanted to throw the phone, smash it against the wall. "Mark," I typed frantically. "You need to see this." "What's wrong?" His reply was instant. I sent the pictures. "Look at her. Look at him. They're together." She's smiling at him like she used to at me. There was a pause. Then, "Holy dude, are you serious? Are you serious?" I muttered aloud. "Am I seeing things?" Mark's reply came. "I can see it. That's bad, man. Really bad." I sank onto the couch, phone still in hand. My mind spun. Lena. My Lena. The fiancée I trusted with my life. And now this. I called her number. Once, twice. Straight to voicemail. Again, I left a shaky message. "Lena, it's me. Please, I need an explanation." No response. I threw the phone onto the couch, running my hands over my face. "She can't. This can't be real." She wouldn't, would she? A new message popped up from Mark. "You need to do something. Don't just sit there," I typed back. I don't know. Confront her? Ignore it? "I feel sick, Mark. I can't even think straight." "Confront her. Calmly. Collect yourself first. Don't give her the satisfaction of seeing you break." "Break," I muttered, pacing. I feel like my whole world is crumbling. I scrolled through more pictures. Lena holding Jake's hand, leaning into him as if I never existed. I laughed bitterly, a hollow sound. "She's not even pretending anymore," I whispered. "Not even a little." Mark texted again. "This is intentional. Think about it. She didn't just forget. She planned it." I froze. He was right. Every detail in the photos screamed deliberate. Her smile, the way she clung to him, it wasn't casual. It was calculated. My phone buzzed. Another picture. Lena's caption, "Best trip ever. Thanks for everything, Jake." I slammed the phone down, heart racing. "Thanks for everything? Me?" She's thanking him. "After everything?" Mark's reply, "You have to decide. Are you going to let her humiliate you like this? Or take control?" I swallowed hard, breathing unevenly. Take control, easier said than done. I imagined calling Lena, demanding an explanation, tearing through lies. But then I pictured her smirking, twisting my words, making me look pathetic. Mark texted, "Don't do it over the phone. Face-to-face.com. Collect your thoughts first." I ran my hands through my hair. My anger bubbled, mixed with hurt and disbelief. Face-to-face, don't even know if I can do that. I want to scream. I want to yell. I want to make her feel guilty. I muttered aloud. That's the point, isn't it? But I also don't want to look desperate. Mark replied, "Exactly. You have to be smarter. Show her she doesn't control you anymore." I leaned back on the couch, trying to calm down. But every picture, every smile, every handhold stabbed me in the chest. Lena wasn't just cheating. She was flaunting it. "I trusted you," I whispered. My voice cracked. "I gave you everything. And now this?" Mark's message, "Don't dwell. Plan, reclaim your life first." She regretted. I stared at my phone, thinking, he was right. I couldn't let anger consume me completely, but I also couldn't forgive not yet. I had to rebuild my power, my dignity. Let her feel what she had done. Another notification popped up. Lena had posted a story. Laughing, leaning against Jake, her voice in the video warm and carefree. I swallowed, furious and humiliated. I have to do something," I muttered. "Not now." but soon. I can't let her win. Not like this. Mark's message. Good. That's the spirit. Step 1. Focus on you. Step 2. Let karma handle her. I clench my fists. Yes, karma. Let her think she's untouchable. Let her think I don't see it. But I do. Oh, I see it all, and one day she's going to wish she hadn't. I exhaled slowly, my mind buzzing with plans. I wasn't broken. Not yet. Not ever. The betrayal stung, but under that sting something fierce and sharp was growing. Something that would make her regret every smug smile, every careless touch, every lie she had ever told me. I stared at the photos one last time before locking my phone. This isn't over, Lena. Not by a long shot. I didn't go to work that day, or the next. I couldn't face anyone. The moment I woke up, my phone lit up with notifications from the trip I wasn't invited to. Lena, Jake, everyone laughing, hiking, eating dinner, smiling as if I never existed. I muttered, why is this happening to me? Mark called. Dude, you're missing everything. Get your ass out of bed. I can't, I said, voice tight. Everywhere I look, it's her. It's him. I feel hollow. Hollow. Yeah, that's exactly it, I thought, staring at the ceiling. You need to stop hiding, Mark pressed. You're turning into a shadow of yourself. I don't know how, I admitted. I see her everywhere. At the park, the cafe, I can't even walk by the places she liked with me without I trailed off, swallowing hard. Mark sighed. Without what? Without feeling like I've lost everything. Like she's replaced me already, 'cause she has. Dude, you need a plan. Not pity. Pity gets you nowhere, he said. I know. I know that. But the words tasted hollow. I wandered to the park we used to go to, the bench by the fountain. I sat, staring at the water, imagining her laughing with him right there. I shook my head. No, stop imagining. This is pathetic. A neighbor walked by. Morning, Alex. Haven't seen you in a while? Everything okay? I forced a smile. Yeah, just busy avoiding reality. Busy pretending I wasn't dying inside. I left the park and wandered aimlessly through the streets. Every cafe, every corner reminded me of Lena. Every memory was a punch to the gut. Mark called again. Where are you? Walking somewhere? I muttered, voice flat. You sound like hell. Listen, I'm coming over. I don't want company.
Yes, you do.
You're drowning in this self-pity. I'm not letting you. I hung up and leaned against a wall, heart hammering. I'm not ready to face anyone yet? He was right. I wasn't, but I couldn't keep running either. Later, he showed up anyway, arms crossed. So, what's your plan? Cry forever? I looked at him, bitterness dripping from my voice. It's easy for you to say. You're not the one seeing her with someone else. Not the one imagining her laughing while I sit alone. And what? You think I don't get it? Mark shot back. I get it. But wallowing won't make her regret it. It won't fix anything. You have to fight for yourself. I don't even know where to start, I muttered. Start by standing up. Start by walking away from the pity pit you've created. Stop letting her control your emotions. You have more power than you think, Alex. I shook my head, voice low. I feel powerless. Like I'm drowning. You're not powerless, he said firmly. You're just choosing to let her win. Choose yourself instead. I stared at him, silence hanging heavy between us. Choose myself. Right, easier said than done. Fine, I whispered. Where do I even begin? Simple. One step at a time. Focus on you. Work, gym, friends. Anything that reminds you that your life isn't hers to ruin. I sighed. I don't even know if I have the energy. You do? You just need to decide. Decide you're done being a victim. Decide you're done letting her happiness control your mood. I ran my hands through my hair, feeling a small spark ignite. Maybe he was right. Maybe I had been wasting my anger and heartbreak. Okay, I said slowly. I'll try. I'll start small. Work tomorrow. Gym after. Friends eventually. Mark nodded. Good. That's all I needed to hear. Stop looking at her posts. Stop letting her ghost haunt you. Build your life while she crumbles under her own choices. I sat there, quiet, thinking about his words. My chest still ached, but anger replaced some of the pain. Anger at her. Anger at the situation. But also a strange clarity. I could choose not to be a victim. I could reclaim control. Do you think karma will take care of her? I asked hesitantly. Mark smirked. It always does. You focus on yourself. Let life handle the rest. I nodded slowly, the weight in my chest easing slightly. Okay, I'll do that. I have to. I walked home thinking about Lena, about the trip, about Jake. The hurt was still there, but so was determination. I wouldn't confront her yet, not while I was broken. I needed strength, strategy, composure. Mark's right, I muttered to myself. I need to focus on me first. Let her see what she's lost. Let karma deal with her mistakes. I unlocked my apartment door and sank into the couch, phone in hand. I stared at Lena's last post from the trip. My fists clenched, but instead of hopelessness, a plan began forming. A small, quiet voice inside me whispered, "You'll rise from this." Not because of her, not for her, but for yourself. And for the first time in days, I believed it. I wasn't broken. Not yet, not ever. I would rebuild, slowly, surely, and she would see. One way or another, she would see. I stared at my reflection in the gym mirror, sweat dripping down my face. I can do this, I muttered, lifting the dumbbells again. The burn in my arms was nothing compared to the weight in my chest, but at least it was something I could control. Hey, you've been hitting it hard lately, said Mike. One of the trainers? Trying to, I replied, forcing a grin. Needed a change, he nodded. Good, keep it up. You're making progress. Progress. That word felt strange on my tongue, but I clung to it like a lifeline. Lena's betrayal wasn't the end of me. Not if I kept moving. Later at the office, I sat across from my colleague. Sarah, you seem different, she said, raising an eyebrow. Different good or different bad? I asked, smirking slightly. Different good, she said. Confident, focused. I felt a flicker of pride. Maybe Mark was right. Maybe I could channel my anger into something productive. That evening, I found myself at a networking event. I wasn't looking for distractions. I was looking for opportunity. People mingled, laughing, shaking hands, exchanging business cards. Alex. A cheerful voice called. I turned to see Julia, holding a drink, smiling warmly. I didn't expect to see you here. Julia, hey, I said, offering a small smile. Networking night. Yes, but mostly hoping to meet interesting people, she said, laughing softly. And you look different too. I laughed, a little forced, trying to reinvent myself, I guess. Life has a way of shaking things up. She asked, curious. Yeah, people change. Circumstances force you to. I hesitated, then added, I've had a rough few weeks. Julia tilted her head, her eyes kind. I get it. Some of us have been there. But you're here now, right? That counts for something. Her words hit me in a way I didn't expect. Yeah, it does. We drifted into conversation about work, ambitions, and, oddly enough, favorite books. I found myself laughing more freely than I had in weeks. She was witty, sharp, and empathetic. Not like Lena. Not manipulative. Not calculated. Just genuine. During a break, I stepped outside, taking a deep breath. The night air was cool against my face. I reached into my pocket and felt something. A small box. I hadn't realized I still had it. Lena's gift from last year's watch. I had kept it in my drawer, untouched. I opened it slowly. The watch gleamed in the light. Memories flashed her smiling, laughing the day she gave it to me. But instead of pain, I felt clarity. A reminder of what I had been through, yes, but also of what I had survived. Alex. Julia's voice broke my thoughts. Everything okay? I smiled at her. Yeah. Better than okay. Just remembering things, I guess. She nodded, sensing without judgment. Good memories or bad? Both, I said honestly. But mostly I'm learning from them. We returned inside, mingling again. Colleagues approached, mentors shared advice, and Julia introduced me to her friends. I felt alive again. Stronger, focused, and gradually more like myself. Later, while talking with Mark on the phone, I told him about the event. It went well. Actually well. I didn't expect it. Told you, he said, a grin in his voice. Step by step. You're coming back. Lena doesn't get to define you anymore. I exhaled slowly, thinking of Lena. Her betrayal still lingered like a shadow, but it no longer consumed me. I saw it now as a lesson. Painful? Yes, but a reminder of strength. She's still on your mind, Mark said knowingly. Yeah, I admitted. But I'm learning to not let her control me. That's the difference. Exactly. Keep this up. Focus on growth. Everything else will follow. After the call, I sat quietly, glancing at the watch Lena had given me. Once, it symbolized love, trust, and connection. Now, it symbolized resilience, survival, and the ability to rise after betrayal. I felt a quiet smile form. I can do this. I will do this, I whispered. The night ended with Julia walking me to the elevator. See you around? She asked, a teasing glint in her eye. Definitely, I said, genuinely. For the first time in weeks, I felt excitement about the future instead of dread. As I stepped into the elevator, I thought about the journey ahead. Rebuilding wasn't easy, but each choice, each step, each small victory like tonight reminded me that I could take control of my life. And for the first time, I realized Lena's betrayal had not destroyed me. It had forced me to grow, to rise from the ashes. I exhaled slowly, feeling something I hadn't felt in a long time. Hope. I walked into the convention hall, scanning the crowd for familiar faces. The hum of conversations, clinking glasses, and laughter surrounded me, but my focus was elsewhere. Business cards, networking, opportunities. I tried to remind myself why I came. Then I saw them. Lena and him. Jake, standing near the refreshments, smiling, laughing. The sight made my stomach twist. Damn it, I muttered under my breath, keeping my voice low. Julia noticed immediately. Who? She asked softly, following my gaze. Someone from my past, I said, forcing a calm tone. Nothing to worry about. Julia raised an eyebrow but didn't press. She smiled encouragingly. All right. You've got this, Alex? I nodded, taking a deep breath. Time to act composed. To show I wasn't the same man she thought she could humiliate, I moved closer, making sure my steps were confident. Lena's head turned slightly. I caught her eye. Her smile faltered, just a fraction. I felt a spark of satisfaction. Alex, she said, her voice light, casual. But there was tension in it. Lena, I replied smoothly, offering a neutral smile. I didn't expect to see you here. Well, business event, right? Lots of people, she said, glancing at Jake. He seemed oblivious, chatting with a colleague, leaving her to handle me. Right, I said, nodding slowly. Lots of people, and yet somehow, I still find you. Her lips pressed into a thin line. You look, well, she said, a little too quickly. Thanks, I replied. I've been keeping busy, focused. Lena's eyes flicked away, a flash of guilt crossing her face. That's good to hear. I'm curious, I said casually, leaning slightly closer. How's your trip going? The one I wasn't invited to? Her smile tightened. We had fun? Fun, I echoed softly, letting the word hang. I'm glad you're enjoying yourself. I hope Jake is treating you well. Her hands fidgeted slightly, betraying her calm facade. Of course, she said, voice controlled but clipped. I paused, letting the silence do the work for me. People nearby were starting to notice. A colleague whispered to another, glancing at us, clearly intrigued by the tension. You look different, she said finally. Stronger, maybe. I smirked faintly. I had a lot of time to think. To focus on myself, her gaze wavered. Alex? She started, but I cut her off, voice firm, measured. No need, Lena. I'm past the explanations. I just wanted to say, hello. And I hope you understand something. Understand what? She asked uneasily. That I'm no longer someone you can manipulate. Someone you can hurt without consequences. Her jaw tightened, and she glanced at Jake, then back at me, frustration clear in her expression. Julia, standing just behind me, gave a subtle nod, her presence a silent support. I noticed Lena's eyes flick toward her, irritation flashing for a brief second. I didn't, Lena began, but I interrupted, keeping my tone calm but sharp. Save it, I said. I don't need excuses. I've learned my lesson. I've grown. And that's enough. Her face flushed slightly. She opened her mouth again, but no words came. I hope you're happy, Lena, I added, letting the words drip with quiet authority. Truly, but no, this actions have consequences. One day you'll see the results of yours. Lena swallowed, her composure slipping, just a fraction. She glanced at Jake, who still hadn't noticed. Her hands tightened around her clutch. Right, she said finally, voice tight. Well, good to see you. I shook my head gently. No need to run. I just wanted to make sure you understood me. That's all. And with that, I stepped back, turning slightly toward Julia. Shall we grab a drink? I asked. Absolutely, she said, smiling. Her presence steadied me, reminded me of the future I could focus on instead of the past I couldn't change. Lena's eyes followed me briefly, a mixture of guilt, frustration, and something else, perhaps regret. I didn't look back. Not today. Not for her. We moved toward the bar, blending into the crowd, leaving her standing there, words unsaid, exposed. People nearby whispered quietly, colleagues watching, her curiosity mixing with respect for my composure. Julia leaned closer. You handled that incredibly well. Thanks, I said quietly, exhaling. I've had practice. Letting go of control isn't easy, but holding on to my dignity, that's non-negotiable, she nodded, smiling. And it suits you. Different, in a good way. I glanced back once more. Lena had turned away, her posture tight, frustration visible. I felt a quiet satisfaction, not from cruelty, but from understanding that I had grown past the power she once held over me. She regret underestimating me. I whispered softly to myself. Not because I chase her, but because I've moved on, and I'm stronger than she ever imagined. Julia smiled again, unaware of the full storm I'd just weathered, but her presence grounded me. Hope, not anger, led me forward now. For the first time in months, I believed in the life I was building without her, but with possibility. I sat at the cafe, sipping my coffee, scrolling through social media. Lena's posts still popped up, smiles, laughter, vacations, but something had changed. The ease she flaunted last month was gone. Julia leaned over my shoulder. You're still checking her feed? Not really, I said, forcing a shrug. Just noticing things. Noticing things, she asked, raising an eyebrow. Her perfect little world, I admitted. It's starting to crack. Julia tilted her head, curious. How so? Jake, I said quietly. He's not as flawless as she made him seem. Julia frowned. Really? Yes, I said. I've seen the comments, her friends gossiping, even her family questioning her choices. She's panicking, but nobody will tell her directly. The rumors are spreading like wildfire. Julia leaned back, impressed. You're calm about this, smiled faintly. I learned something, Julia. I want justice, not cruelty. Let the universe handle her mistakes. I just watch. The next day at work, I overheard a conversation between two colleagues. Did you see Lena's post? She's arguing with Jake already. Yeah, and apparently her sister confronted her about how she's treating everyone. It's all messy. I pretended to type notes on my laptop, keeping my expression neutral. A small, quiet satisfaction filled me. Not gloating, just acknowledgement. Actions have consequences. Later, Julia met me for lunch. "You're enjoying this a little too much," she teased. "Not enjoying it," I said, smirking. "Observing it. There's a difference," sure she said, rolling her eyes. "But I'll admit it's kind of satisfying." I chuckled. I used to imagine confronting her every day, yelling, demanding apologies. That was weakness. Now, this is power. Silent, quiet, controlled. Julia nodded. "You're different, better, stronger, and calmer." We walked through the park after lunch. A text buzzed on my phone. "Lena." I almost didn't open it, but curiosity won. "Alex, I think we need to talk." I smiled faintly, typing back carefully. "I don't think that's necessary." A few minutes later, Julia noticed. "Everything okay?" "Yes," I said softly. "Better than okay. Just watching consequences unfold." Later that week, a mutual friend called. "You heard about Lena?" I shook my head. "No. What happened?" "She argued with Jake at the party. Her family is upset. People are questioning her decisions. You'd think the world turned on her." I chuckled quietly. The world didn't turn on her. She planted these seeds herself. "Now they're growing, Alex," Julia said, tone gentle. "You're not cruel, right? You're just observing," I said firmly. "I don't want her destroyed. I want her to see reality. Understand the consequences. That's enough for me." The next day at work, I met with my mentor, Mr. Hale. "Alex, you seem different lately," he said. "I am," I admitted. "Focused. Less distracted by personal complications." He smiled knowingly. "Good. Channel that energy. Let go of anger. Focus on growth. Karma has its way of balancing things. You don't need to intervene directly." "Exactly," I said. "That's what I'm doing. Watching, learning, growing." Later, during a networking event, Lena appeared again, this time alone. She spotted me, her eyes widening for a moment, then she forced a smile. "Alex," she said, voice controlled but tense. "Lena," I replied, calm and measured. "You seem busy." She laughed lightly, but it sounded strained. "You could say that." I nodded, sipping my drink. I noticed. "Some issues. Hope everything works out?" Her lips pressed together. "Yes, I'm handling it." "Good," I said. "You'll learn a lot from this. Maybe about honesty, loyalty, about consequences." Her gaze dropped. I could see guilt flicker across her face, quickly masked by pride. I didn't expect you to be like this," she muttered, almost under her breath. "I had to," I said quietly. "For me, not for you, not for anyone else." She stared, realizing my calm, controlled demeanor wasn't weakness. It was strength. Julia, standing beside me, noticed the subtle tension. "You're impressive," she whispered. I glanced at her and smiled softly. "Thanks. It's easier now. Focused on growth, not revenge. But yes, watching consequences unfold. It has its satisfaction." Later that night, I reflected quietly at home. Lena's world was cracking. Jake's flaws were showing. Friends and family questioned her. The rumors spread. And yet, I hadn't lifted a finger. Karma was taking its course. I held Julia's hand, feeling grounded, feeling real connection. Someone genuine, empathetic, not deceitful. Lena had been a lesson, a test of patience and strength. "I had passed, Alex," Julia said softly. "You're at peace with this, aren't you?" I nodded, staring at the ceiling. Peace, not yet fully. Satisfaction, yes. But I know life will balance itself. I don't need to chase her down. I just grow. That's enough. I smiled quietly. Watching karma in motion, knowing my dignity remained intact, my heart growing stronger, my life moving forward, I was at my apartment, scrolling through my emails when my phone buzzed. Lena's name flashed on the screen. I stared at it for a moment, then put it down. Julia noticed. "Everything okay?" "Yeah," I said softly. "Just someone from the past." She tilted her head. "Want to answer?" I shook my head. "No. I'm done with that chapter." A minute later, I received a message from her. "Alex, can we talk? I made mistakes." I exhaled slowly and showed Julia. "See, still trying." Julia smiled faintly. "And your response?" I typed, "I wish you well. That's all." "Perfect," she said, giving my hand a reassuring squeeze later. At the office, my colleague stopped by my desk. "Alex, you've changed," said Sarah. "You seem more confident, calmer." "I guess I've been learning," I said with a small smile. "About myself. About focus." Mark walked by, giving me a thumbs up. "Looking sharp. Keep it up." I leaned back in my chair, feeling something I hadn't in months' peace. Not the hollow kind, not the angry kind. Genuine peace. That evening, Julia and I walked along the riverbank, the sun dipping below the horizon. "You're different now," she said quietly. "Stronger and happy, really happy." I smiled at her. I've been through a lot, but I realized I can't let betrayal define me. I can only define myself. She looked at me, eyes soft. "And you've done that. Look at you now." I've learned to focus on what matters. My life, my goals, the people who actually care, I said. No more pretending. No more chasing someone who chose to leave me behind. We sat on a bench, hands brushing occasionally. The air felt light, hopeful. "Alex," she said, "do you feel free?" "More than ever," I replied. "It's strange. I thought I'd be bitter forever, but the truth is, I feel empowered. Stronger than I've ever been," she nodded, smiling. "And it suits you, really." The next day, I attended a small gathering with close friends and colleagues. "Alex, this is amazing," said Mark, handing me a glass. "Look at you. You've rebuilt everything: career, life, focus." I raised my glass. It wasn't easy, but it's worth it. Every step, every choice that lead here. Sarah clinked her glass with mine. "To growth, then." "To growth," I echoed, smiling genuinely. Later, Julia pulled me aside. "You're glowing," she said softly. "Not because of anyone else, but because of yourself." I looked at her, feeling a quiet warmth. "Yeah, and having someone like you, supportive, genuine, it makes all the difference." She blushed slightly. "You've earned this, Alex. Truly." I glanced at my phone later. No new messages from Lena. I felt indifferent. Not bitterness, not longing. Simply closure. "See," I said to Julia, "it's over. Not with anger, not with regret. Just done. And I can move forward." She smiled, resting her head lightly on my shoulder. "Exactly. New beginnings." I inhaled the crisp evening air, feeling my chest expand. No longer haunted by betrayal, no longer defined by loss. Instead, driven by self-worth, opportunity, and genuine connection. "Alex." Mark's voice echoed from across the room at a later meetup. "You've really changed." "Proud of you, man." "Thanks," I said, smiling calmly. "It's been a journey, but worth every step." I thought about Lena once more. Her choices, her regret, didn't matter anymore. Karma had its course. I hadn't needed to intervene. Turning back to Julia, I said softly, "This is the life I wanted. Real people, real trust, real love. I finally get it." She squeezed my hand. "And you deserve every bit of it." I nodded, feeling the truth of that in every fiber of my being. My heart, once heavy with betrayal and loss, now held only hope, growth, and calm confidence. The past was gone. The mistakes, the heartbreak, they were lessons, nothing more. And in that moment, I realized something profound. I didn't need revenge, confrontation, or approval. I only needed myself in, that was enough. Here's to us, Julia whispered, smiling to growth. To life, to everything ahead, I said. And for the first time in a long time, I believed it. Fully.